First and foremost, I'm Tony Visions. Tony is a name that was given to me by friends as a childhood, and when I initially started, it began with just really closing my eyes and envisioning pieces and garments. So the beginning process was a little bit different from most. Didn't do much of school. We kind of we rented out subleased a warehouse, about 3,000 square feet, and we just learned. I taught myself how to sew. I taught myself the industry. I spent about 3.5 years just with my head down to the ground, learning as much stuff as possible, networking, just meeting, working with all types of artists. Everything has been based in South Florida. I'm very grateful for the people I've been able to meet through this process, and just really building and nurturing the youth and the culture, and creating these trends. I've always just been so inspired by fabrics and the inspiration that a garment can give somebody, and the confidence and the power that it'll give you, knowing that your outfit can almost speak for itself sometimes. So I just really wanted to take it into my own hands, and once I realized that you can make clothes yourself, it just took it to the next level. So I sat down for about 6 months until I was able to complete a garment from scratch. After bloody fingers and banged up hands and broken sewing machines and late nights, I started to really get to that point where people began to appreciate the creativity behind the vision in every single piece that I would make. So, and then from there, it's just only been the levels have been raising, the bars have been raising, the clients have been more knowledgeable, more profitable, and the events have just been kind of speaking for themselves. Well, Tony Visions is an independent designer, so I'm not just a clothing brand. I do creative direction, I do event curation, and garments that's my baby. That's my main thing. It always has been. So I can't stop from making exclusive pieces. So that's always going to be something that's incorporated into Tony Visions. But the goal is really to just, it might sound like something a lot of people say, but it's just empowerment. It's just to bring together artists and people who want to pursue their art and craft, but just don't know where to, don't know how to. But when it comes down to it, it's the same way I started. You just have to put your head to the ground and do it. You teach yourself whatever you can. If you don't, you reach out to the right people. You learn patience. Patience is number one, but Tony Visions, ideally, I'm on the way to, I'm building an empire, a platform where anybody who has any creative bone can excel and build themselves. I do brand consulting. I help build new brands, get them off the floor. I really love watching others prosper and being able to be a part of that process of creating something new and a new trend, and just continuing to cultivate this generation's culture, and hopefully the next culture, the next generation. Something that's very important to me. I'm very meticulous with my pieces, and I don't know if it sounds selfish, but sometimes I make the pieces just based on the vision I have for the piece. And when somebody finds the piece that matches them, the pieces kind of find their owners, to be honest. That's what I like about being so more of an exclusive designer, I believe. The movement is just, and always, fashionably fly. Always. Anybody that's with me, you have to look exclusive, feel exclusive, because what you're doing, being a part of this movement, you are exclusive. Because I try to make my pieces speak for themselves. So each piece would have almost a story behind it. So it's not just another collection, another piece. This collection has a whole entire inspired story behind it. Each piece has a vision behind it. When I start making a piece, it's not, I don't really even sketch my pieces. I just sit down and I pull together fabrics, pieces, zippers, patches, and I just let my mind go to work and just put everything together. So definitely keeping these garments as exclusive as possible is my number one to distinguish myself from other designers. I need my consumer to feel the best that they've ever felt. Like they're wearing something that somebody that they admire can't even get their hands on. And I think that's everything when it comes to clothing. That's what clothes is for. So if you're gonna wear something, let it suit your mood, let it suit everything. I start off running in circles for about a week and a half, and then just I gear up, I stock up on a lot of fabrics, I stock up on a lot of colors, and I always make one signature piece first, and that signature piece I'll spend about a week on, and then I have that piece just sitting there, and it kind of just looks at me and gives me a lot of inspiration for the rest of the pieces, because that signature piece will begin the collection, and then once that's going, then the next 5 to 10 pieces out of 16 or 20, each piece is gonna kind of ravel down from that signature piece that was created first. The fabrics, my favorite store, shout out to Mood Fabrics in New York Fashion Week. I will be there. I'll touch on Thursday. I'm going straight to Mood Fabrics, and they have all of my favorite fabrics. Even simple places like Joann's. I do vintage thrifting as well, vintage restorations. Sometimes I'll take a piece and just tear it apart just for the arm of it, and then use it, turn it into a leg of another piece. But I mean, I look around and fabric is just everywhere, really. I've taken shirts, jackets, and just unrolled it into a clean slate of fabric and turned it into something different. My first experience was definitely a changing point in my career. It's kind of when I decided that this is what I was gonna do. I had my first vintage custom piece, and it was something I worked really hard on, and a customer walked in, and he offered a lot more than I wanted, and he just was so sold on it, and I was just kind of blown away that he was willing to pay like $200 for a custom jacket that, you know, to me, I mean, I spent a lot of time on it, but now looking back, it's like I can do that in my sleep now. So, but once I see that people actually value these designs, and especially during New York Fashion Week, everybody's out there looking for inspiration, looking for garments to value, designers and models, and you know, it's just an amazing place to be during New York Fashion Week. New York is just rolling with artists and arts and ideas, and I don't think I've missed it since I started in this industry. Every year. The only designers I really would say, I really like Tom Ford style. It's very clean cut. I mean, my pieces are a little different sometimes, but I definitely have a thing. I'd love to get into suit collections. And I like Diesel as well as a brand though. The way that they do things is a little bit upscale rebel. I mean, but besides that, I'm very selective, and I don't really pay too much attention to a lot of designers, to be honest. My ear is kind of not to the streets, if that makes sense. I feel like if I take too much inspiration from someone else's work, I might just be following a trend and not focusing on creating something that's completely new, that's something that nobody has ever seen. But I mean, I find more inspiration in a designer's story than I do their work, because I feel like their story is what creates the inspiration for their own work. I mean, I would say your garments and your goals. Your garments are what's finished already. That's what you did. That's what you've completed. You had an idea, you did it. What do those garments mean to them? But really, where are they trying to go? A lot of designers, they just want to be the top designer. They just want the fame and all that stuff. But I'm doing this for the people, really. I'm doing this for my community. I'm doing this for the culture. I'm doing this for everybody. I want my stuff to be accessible to everybody, and I mean, I just hope that shows, and it's able to naturally and positively influence everybody else, whether it's an upcoming designer. I mean, even an established designer might be able to find some inspiration from it.